Hello, welcome back to another episode of Supercoach Insider. It's another joint special, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, find us, SC Insider 100 on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, all the audio platforms as well, so Spotify, Soundcloud, Stitcher, you name it. YouTube, search for a Supercoach Insider. Like, subscribe, get amongst that funny business. Chris looks like a statue. Swiz is here up from Victoria, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here for Swiz's team into round 17, including the Q&A, sponsored specifically for splashvodka.com.au because the boys are on the splash. We're making a mark, ladies and gentlemen. We are wetter than Splash.
I just want to say that was the quickest intro that I've ever heard. And if you didn't understand a word of that, well, I mean, that's Ben's fault.
Well, in a former life, ladies and gentlemen, I have been calling either races on the horse track or I've been calling auctions and 150, 150, 152, 250, 253. Got myself Toronto for free. That's it. Hey, Chris won't be here. He's here for a short time, not a long time, which is also like his penis. And Swiz is talking about, obviously, Q&As and the team announcements. So there is a lot of changes. I'm very upset about my boys Brisbane. Some health and safety, some injury, a whole lot of anarchy, boys. It's going to be very, very interesting. Swiz, how are you?
I'm great, mate. Love being up here in the beautiful sunshine of Queensland.
And that's my cue to leave, guys. I just want to come in and say hey, but enjoy. These guys will take care of you and have a good weekend. Go Stephen May 140 tonight. Woo! Let's go.
Stephen May against Hawkins. Chris is going to take his double 4-pack of splashvodka.com.au and get on those low-calorie goodnesses so that way you can make sure you keep everything all splendor. What a lovely treat for some people. It's not often. We haven't not been in the same room ever, actually. This is the first time ever.
Same as the wife before. It's the
First time ever.
Yeah.
Swiz, shuffle over, mate. This is our show now.
All right,
and see you later, Chris. Go. Who are you tipping tonight?
Melbourne.
Melbourne?
Yeah,
okay.
with Gorn and
Jackson?
They should be the favorites.
Interesting.
I've tipped Geelong by a kick, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, by the time the game starts, no one will be watching this video at this point in time. So we'll catch you later. See you, Chris.
Yeah, mate.
All right, Swiz, this is your team. Let's go back. You have all the trades there accessible. And I'll let you take the show, my friend.
25.80 last week, which I was happy with, but not in the end because I didn't go up as much as I was hoping. Only 72 spots, but up to 863, which is probably half the ranking that Chris is at now. So I've got to be at least reasonably happy with that because I think about 8 weeks ago I was 13,000. So,
yep.
You know, it shows that no matter what happens throughout the year, and I think that was the same with a couple of past winners where they were ranked out like 20,000 early in the season, and it's just about chipping away and setting yourself up for the buys. The thing that cost me was Brayshaw and Darcy went so well, and also not having Petrarca. So unfortunately, the early gains I'd made, everybody caught up. And then some went way ahead, but, you know, still reasonably happy, 863. And, you know, the 2 trades is a bit of a worry, but, you know.
Well, 3 trades.
Oh, 3
soon,
trades.
soon
3
to
trades,
be.
yeah. So, no, actually,
Soon.
it'll still be 3 trades this week. But
okay.
welcome back, Chris.
Hey, just got to get from my jacket.
This is Chris, everyone.
Hey.
Chris is doing the drive-by. First time. Nice of you to dress up.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Overall, pretty happy with that. And if you go into my team, Benny the boy, you'll have a look there. It's the one big trade last week was Stuart down to Dawson. I know I tiptoed around bringing in Vlosten and then upgrading Roses and which worked out all right because Vlosten ended up getting himself suspended.
I say, aren't you glad?
So I'm very glad with that. And the other thing that really came down to it was that extra trade. Like I started seeing a lot of tweets with people ranked higher than me who only had 1 and 2 trades. And I think my man Abdul, who's 5th, all in, 0 trades. Maybe the number 1 person, Presti, something like that. His name. I think he might be down to 1 or 0 as well. So I thought, well, maybe just save that extra trade, and you just never know how many others are ahead of me.
Abdul needs to chill. He needs to chill.
And that's been the thing.
With 2 trades remaining, there's no point having cover if you can't trade out a premium.
That's right. So the hope now is with 7 weeks off and 6 weeks after this, that some of these 800 people ahead of me start, getting injuries and that, and especially if it's like a 3 or 4 week injury where they can't just cover it.
Well, even if, say, like a Heaney's your F7, it's like, well, hang on, Bontempelli goes down injured and you're going to play Heaney for the rest of the year. well, hypothetically, if there's no more injuries,
Well, I think
you're going to cost points.
I think it's the big one, but it's like I need a McRae and Oliver. Not that you want to wish the best players, but somebody who's highly owned by everybody to have a 2 or 3 weeker
to really
cripple them. And that'll make things really interesting. And, I've only got 3 trades compared to some of these people who've got 5 or 6. So, this is where I think leading into finals, it's going to be real interesting to see how these rankings sort of play out. So it'll be 0 trades for me this week. My back line's more settled now. Dawson, Sinclair, Doc, Hewitt, Crisp. Unfortunately, Jaden Short is the one letting me down there. But
I didn't realise how speculative you have gone in parts.
Yes, and that. So
You went balls out with Cameron.
Yeah, so
and the Himmelberg.
Yeah,
and it's worked out for you both times.
I was just going to say quickly about the back line. We've lost it now. I'm hoping short rebounds this week. But Darcy Cameron, Himmelberg, like that was where it was. I kept saying in my team pods, if you're outside the 10,000, roll the dice. Like, what difference does it make? And if you finish 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, it makes no bloody difference. If you're sitting there at 10,000 right now, go out and get Luke McDonald this week or someone like that. Like, what are you losing? Unless you're playing for leagues, and that's going to affect you.
Well, even in leagues, it can really mess some people up. You're like, hey, Luke McDonald comes out and he can bang out a 130.
That's right. And I know some people did that with Tex Walker.
Although Aaron Hall, quad injury, they reckon he could only miss a week. So I think Luke McDonald stocks have gone
maybe not as much as some of the others. But you have a look at, I've kept saying, have a look at those fixtures on the run homes. Those teams who are playing, and I think Hawthorn does, like your West Coast, Adelaide, North Melbourne, maybe go get Dylan Moore or go get Tom Mitchell or get someone like that who could bang out, who's got a history of banging out good scores. And if it doesn't pay off, well, you still finish 20,000. Like, who gives a fuck? And that, but if it pays off, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm catching up on everyone. And that's what you've sometimes got to do in this position. So that's what I did when I was back at 13,000. I was like, okay, let's roll the dice on some players. And now I'm really, fingers crossed, Himmelberg gets defender forward status next week. And that will really shorten my team because, Weir goes down to a defender forward. Gives me Himmelberg as my bench loophole, and then I can look at bringing a Darcy or someone like that into the ruck, or even if I've got enough cash, Timmy English, and Darcy Cameron, Himmelberg become my loophole players. So, that's the way I played it, and it's paying off at the moment.
No, looking good. Looks good except for McDonald. Still chipping away in that midfield there, mate, on the bench, 230,000. It's if only he made that enough money like that at the start of the year. Who would have thought Luke McDonald? What's his name? Connor McDonald. Would have actually sat there making $100,000 and $113,000 over 17 rounds, and that you'd have to keep him because your team's finished.
Mate, he's just my little backup in case we get 2 injuries, and I go, well, at least I'm going to get 40 points this week.
Yeah. He is starting to get impressive, but very, very interesting. What are you looking at doing for your trades this week?
Zero
trades.
Absolutely no, because all my players are playing.
Well, if Parrish is out, Zach Merritt should continue.
Well, that's the hope there. We're break even of 6, so he's not going anywhere.
Are you looking at getting rid of Cameron when Grundy comes in, or is it a wait and see?
And that's where it could be a case if I keep that extra trade.
Oh, you've got 100,000 as well.
I've kept the 100K as well. So Rosas is the one where I'd like to get Weir down to 102K in next week or the week after, and then get Rosas up to preferably Sean Darcy or even now.
Okay, and then Cameron would be in your forward line, and then being able to loop Himmelberg and Cameron and having a bit of swing that way.
That's right. And even if it's maybe even Todd Goldstein's a chance because Cherry's out for the rest of the year.
Oh,
that's the rumor anyway that I've heard.
So
Goldie actually does become more interesting now if that rumor is true.
No, if that's true, then basically
I wouldn't be doing it without Cherry. CCJ's terrible.
No, I know he's terrible, but even he now gets a game, so it's
CCJ's in this week. So.
Bit of a gift. No, Goldie goes up heaps in stock.
So it's either Darcy or Goldie as that probably ruck person, and Darcy Cameron's a fine person to be as that loophole because if I do get an injury to Wits or like Darcy's body falls down every second week. And that, it's an easy person to loophole into my ruck line, and then I don't get the donut.
Man, people getting kissed on the absolute last one. I know Goldstein had a bad week last week. He got like 60 odd or 70. Wasn't great, but that is literally a blessing for anyone that still has him. Yeah, man, I think it's sitting pretty well, chipping away.
Yeah, that's all I need to do. Chip away. I was sitting there going, if I can chip away 100 spots each week, yeah, you never know. I'd love to get like a top 100 finish, and we'll see there. But yeah, we'll go from there.
Let's go and have a look at these teams, and then we'll get into the questions. Obviously, this tonight's game starting in, I think it's about 40 minutes time, so this will be gone by the time you get to it. But
not some of our listeners, because I know some actually jump on straight away. So
okay, Luke Jackson and Gorn in, so this is obviously big news there. Joel Selwood, De Koning back in, so De Koning's very good. I think that's going to be pretty much good to settle their nerves with Stewart out, so I think it's going to be very interesting there. The main sort of things to talk about. So Hickey is out with illness, so that makes it very interesting. Laddams comes back in. Laddams is good for a draft league for a 1 week only now. For those that are holding on to him, he'll do well as a solo ruck. Ed Richards is back in, so I think that's pretty much good. Just even just good for the makeup of the Dogs. Hannon and English, so they're all in. Sweet then gets omitted, so pretty much again English is
English
the only
versus Laddams.
That's
huge for English, and that's what we'll talk about.
Ooh, that's even a good
throwing your VC on somebody. Like most people, we're going to go Oliver, and we're backing Oliver in. But if you wanted to take that risk, and you've got that captaincy in Neil. English versus Laddams is not a bad
first game back last time. He pumped out like a huge game.
Huge
so
score.
Very interesting there. I don't mind it. Not really much relevance there. O'Brien omitted is interesting considering that they're already missing some sort of defensive stock.
Yep.
So now there's another intercept defender out, although they probably just don't think that Sydney have many aerial targets, I guess.
Only probably the best full forward of the modern
Heaney?
even.
Franklin doesn't get aerial. He goes chest mark. So, Paddy McCartan playing his 50th game. So I'm really excited. Congratulations. So really excited just
great
for that.
Sydney player.
Yeah.
All our Saints fans out there.
Hey, but Richmond, bloody hell. St Kilda did all the development there.
Yeah, that's right. Could have had Petrarca.
Jeremy Howe is in. Darcy Moore's just getting rested, not because he has to, but because they're playing North Melbourne.
No, Darcy Moore's injured.
Yeah, but they were short term now. They were suggesting he could have gotten up, but all the fans were saying, hey, mate, we're playing North Melbourne. We've got the bye. Just take it easy. North making a few changes. So Hall's injured.
What I love about this, Bailey Scott, injured. All my draft players are back in this week. This is whoever's playing me in draft. So unlucky. Richard, Scott, Laddams all come back in.
Yeah, Perez, really Zeeble back into the team. Hopefully North get a little bit of fighting spirit on this one. But I think Jeremy Howe, with Darcy Moore out, I think Jeremy Howe's a pretty good shake in draft leagues. Yeah. He was pittering off and getting like 60s and 70s, so maybe he will actually pull through and start getting some good scores like we know he can.
If you play draft leagues with captains and vice captains on, find a Collingwood player as your VC this week. Like they're going to score.
More will be at hundreds.
Collingwood are going to score 2,000 Supercoach points this week.
I don't know. I think North Melbourne, after all the criticisms, I think North might be a good shape.
I would love that to be true. I really would love that for the North Melbourne people out there, but I don't think it will.
But you kick a dog so many times, and at some point they've got to bite back, right?
I'm just hoping they don't bite back when we play them, but it's...
there we go.
I think it's... If you've got a VC draft. Now, here we go.
So the first time I've actually seen this. So now Lukosia's back in, so that's awesome for Gold Coast.
Draft players.
No. So Sharp, Lukosia, Sam Day, I think they're three very big ins. But unfortunately, it comes also with Isaac Rankin being an out with health and safety protocols. So they're losing Markov with health and safety protocols, Isaac Rankin as well. Butterick's obviously injured, obviously hurt himself very badly. Then when we have a look, Presti is back in, as they suspected he would. Arts comes back into the side. Dusty's out. Lambert's injured. Gibcus is also ill, and Vloston suspended. So I'm not sure. I think that kind of helps Gold Coast a little bit with the outs of Richmond. I know Isaac Rankin's been on an absolute heater, but I still like Lukosia, Sharp and Day to really strengthen their core unit. So I think that probably those ins and outs probably help Gold Coast a little bit.
But Presti has been our best player for the last... Like, as good as Dusty has been, Presti is our best player. It's straight out. These days he is.
Having a look, so Butters is back in, so that's a good one for those who've been holding him for a couple of weeks. Lockie Jones injured, Motlop omitted. How's that? The younger Motlop's the only one getting a game at the moment. Peatling in, O'Keefe in, I don't know why he's health and safety protocols. That's why. That's why. So
There's a big one there, mate. Do you notice the big non in there?
Where is there?
No, the big non in there for the
Bruce.
Yes,
Bruce.
no
Yeah,
Bruce.
very, very annoying for those that have been trying to hold and hope.
Flick on the show lineup, see if it's named emergency.
You know the funny part is I was considering holding Bruce weeks ago and I went Darcy, so I'm very happy
not
there.
even on the emergency
Oh,
list.
he isn't either. Hopper's on the emergency, so that's an interesting take.
Wow. Those people have held Bruce.
And even on Port Adelaide, you got Dersma's on the emergency list, so he might actually be eased.
He's a Victorian boy.
And Cleary as well. So Dersma might actually be eased in and even emergency because he's someone that they might try and ease him back in a little bit, but he's dynamic enough where he can play midfield, wing, or defensive line, and probably even forward. I think Dersma's flexible enough, whereas Mays, Cleary, and McKenty probably not as flexible as far as shifting all of their lineup.
Don't be surprised if Dersma, Hopper, who's also emergency, and Riccardi get their name thrown up during this trade period this year.
I can't.
I'm just going to go with that one as a non-super coach.
Himmelberg, I can't deal with GWS.
Every week they name him a half forward and they play him at halfback.
And they play
It's
and they name Hayes at Haynes at
amazing.
halfback.
It's amazing.
The reason I didn't pick him was because he was listed forward.
Every week he gets named forward.
Every
and same
week.
with Lockie Whitfield, gets named forward and goes back to the halfback line.
What are they doing?
That's
Are
amazing.
they taking the piss?
Genuinely
taking the piss.
Yeah.
My God. Did you see my awesome Amon comment, Port Adelaide?
No, I didn't.
Because he kicked a goal and then brought them back within like a kick. And then Port Adelaide were like, oh, we're still in this. And I was like, some might say it's Amon, game on. I got some
There we
wide
go.
reception there. It wasn't even a pun. It was just a very smart play.
On a footy question, where do you think Amon goes?
Oh, he's going to St Kilda.
St Kilda?
It's locked and
Don't
loaded.
think it's the Blues?
No, because his mum works for St Kilda,
Okay,
I
there
believe.
you
So
go.
I heard from some very knowledgeable people that pretty much it's been locked and loaded for half the year.
Oh, I knew he was gone. It was just a question of where.
Yeah, no, St Kilda, apparently he's got really good connections, went for St Kilda. His mum works at St Kilda, and apparently it's basically a done deal. Could be wrong, but it makes sense.
Well, things always change, but yeah, I think that's... Yeah,
well, when you're breaking bread with another house, then generally you go and stay at that house. So that's just my opinion. Alrighty, Joyce. Got that phone call. Hello, Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Yeah, so Hunter Clark's out. Howard's out. Where is my man Billings playing? Billings, centre line, on the wing.
Yeah.
80 plus average, Chris. Take that to the bank. Very interesting there. Marshall playing in the forward line. So obviously Paddy Ryder's there. Very interested to see what happens to Paddy Ryder next year. He's getting old.
We really need Marshall to actually continue to play forward. And
get his forward status?
Forward status and get his
then-
average down too.
And then Paddy Ryder says bye-bye, and then he'll be the biggest lock.
I'll start with the next game because this is Benny's team, Brisbane Lions. So we'll start with the outs. This is all HS protocol. Out, Kalamauchi, McStay, who's probably coming to Victoria next year anyway. Keaton Coleman, which is going to affect a lot of people because he looked really good once the boys got injured last week as that half-back person. Replacing at halfback, Daniel Richards out injured, Zorko out injured, Jared Berry out injured, Jackson Pryor out injured. In Carter Michael, Darcy Fort, Harry Sharp, James Madden, Mitch Robertson, Cockatoo, Reece Matheson, Ryan Lester, Thomas Berry, and Tom Fulton.
Yeah, okay.
I have not seen so many changes since Ross Lyon tried to throw that game down in Launceston.
Excuse me, that was round 23 or whatever?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so this is a Sunday game, so there's an extended bench, which
Still,
is why
at
there's
least
four
seven,
more.
There's at least seven, and
Okay.
I think if you look at the bench, there might even be another one confirmed there. So it looks like it's going to be 8 changes.
No, so this is interesting. Okay, so because now Rich is out, Zorko's out, Kitty Coleman's gone. Now, for me, it's interesting. Whereas Leicester is probably named on the extended bench. Where's Leicester? Leicester. Forward line. Forward line. Okay, forward pocket. Now, for me, it's interesting. Zach Bailey's named a defensive line because they probably need run, dash, and a good user. So that makes sense. Now, we still have plenty of depth, right? So you have a look. Cockatoo, Nakai Cockatoo's been in and out of that side a little bit as far as depth there. Tom Berry's been sub a few times, waiting for his opportunity. Madden, we've seen a bit of the run and dare that he has. Fullerton's a tall muppet, I'll give him that. Sharp again, run and dare could be a sub. Fort is very, very serviceable. So McStay will go out. McStay will go out. Fort will come in as the extra tall option that can also help Oscar. Matheson will come in and pretty much play Jared Berry's role, I reckon, forward mid, killing it in the seconds in the VFL, but can't get a gig. Then you look at, okay, well, I'm surprised. For me, I think Ryan Lester probably goes in the back line because he's serviceable, he's very reliable. When you look at Rich and you look at Zorka going out, I think Lester in the defensive line would be absolutely outstanding. You've also got, they brought back in Mitch Robertson, put him on the wing, so that way I think Berry was probably sort of wing, midfield, forward. Throw him onto the wing, everything looks good. Tunstall on the other wing. Brisbane have a lot of depth. I know it looks absolutely horrible. Kitty Coleman and Rich and Zorko are probably the big concerns. But I'm like, hey, if you went and threw your Leicester back there with your Zach Bailey, then I think that holds up pretty well. Yep. And then you throw 4 in that forward line, it kind of balances out, for me, enough to beat Essendon on a bad day.
Yeah, well, go up to the Essendon's ins quickly. So it's in Waterman, McGrath, Ham. Now go back down to their because it's an extended bench. Jake Kelly, Caldwell, Waterman,
I thought Caldwell was injured.
Ham, Jordan Ridley named in the 7th spot on the bench, and Snelling. Now I would expect Caldwell to, if he gets up, he's playing.
Kelly, Caldwell,
and Kelly's been
Ridley.
Obviously. So they love Snelling down there.
So that's it.
So you got to think, but I don't think Sam Durham's done a lot wrong. I think he was one of their best players the other day. That's going to be very interesting. I've already had a couple messages asking about what's the go of Jordan Ridley being named on the extended bench. Is he not right? And that is the fact that they've named him, taken him, but is he going to be... Because it's just kind of weird. Why would they name Ridley in that spot? Like Ridley's just... Surely he's named in the back line every week without fail.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's got to be a reason why they've named him there. Unless there's something that...
Hobbs playing, forward flank... Peter Wright in the ruck, Draper. Peter Wright forward, Draper.
I expect Ridley to play unless there's
Parrish is
something wrong.
named. Parrish
has been named as well at the moment. So
yeah, could be a late out.
There could be some changes there for the Bombers. We'll wait and see that one.
Interesting. Speaking of lots of lists here, Jesus, Gunston's out for personal reasons. Warple's injured. I think they're talking about Warple having surgery to try and give him some market value. Might be going back to Geelong, but no one wants to pick up an injured pigeon. So I think they'll get that pigeon a bit mended. Butler's injured. Will Day suspended. Bramble injured. So there's a few there. Rochelle injured. Shoal Hinge his health and safety protocols. So it's very interesting. Matt Crouch, I wonder, let's have a look.
The big one there for the Hawks in McAvoy. And well done to you, Benny.
Yeah.
You picked him up in 3 draft leagues.
3 draft leagues. Actually, it was a group chat that I saw it come in. As soon as someone said McAvoy's in, if that was me, I wouldn't even be going to the group chat first. I'd be going straight to draft leagues. And I think I picked him in 3 out of 5 draft leagues because he's averaging like mid-90s. Yeah. So I'm like, bang, straight in, pick, McAvoy in my team. I think I got him out of 3 leagues. I kicked side bottom out of 1.
I was bar to buy you a drink and you were fucking getting McAvoy.
Nah, it was even before that, I think so. Very interesting. Matt Crouch is on the extended bench, but I expect that he probably gets named there. Miller, Matt Crouch, probably Himmelberg. I know they like.
They've got to play Crouch just to get his value out because he's out the door next year, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
They can't. He's too good to be playing Sandful. Like, I don't think he's a world beater, but he's too good to be playing Sandful.
Well, you can't be halfway in, halfway out. I mean, you might as well go full standing instead of crouching. There's one for you. Okay, so having a look at those, Finn McGuinness, I think probably gets a gig because he's been
Ned
killing.
Reeves has kept his spot. Finn
McGuinness has been killing VFL, but I think he just needs some confidence in AFL. So I think he will get it. He's been banging at the door, so I expect him to probably get a gig.
There's my boy.
Ward as well should probably get a go through there. Shields, who knows what's happening with him?
As the sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you have like Bramble and stuff injured, then maybe he comes in, or Warple. It's going to be very interesting through that. Be interesting to see what teams are announced tomorrow. Sicily is pretty much dominating through there. I'm just trying to have a look if there's any other changes. Looks like pretty much just watch out for that extended bench. McAvoy is
named in the forward line at the moment.
But I expect him to probably have
maybe
a bit of a chop out.
First game in, they might just bring him back.
Could be.
It's a Rolio. Here we go. West Coast Carlton back. Alex Witherden.
Well, is he
but
back?
I think he's on the extended bench.
Is he?
They've been playing him as the sub.
He is on the extended bench. What an insult!
That it is. He's way too.
But okay, who's gonna kick him out? So Sam Petrovsky-Seaton's been playing lately, and he's been doing okay.
They'll play Jack Petrola.
Well, Greg Clark probably comes into consideration with some of their outs. So when you have a look at like Yo is out,
Connor West
is injured
for them.
Yeah, so then that kind of helps a little bit. Kemp omitted. Durden might be in that
Jai
sort of
Culley,
mix.
we would have known if there was an announcement, so he won't make the final cut. Bailey Williams like, he's not playing again this year.
See, Durden's interesting because I wonder whether, when you have a look at Nunes has been holding a spot, Cherr's been holding a spot, Zach Fisher's been holding a spot. The Durdens could be tossing up between them, really, or even Setterfield, who I'm not sure he's been really out of favour a bit.
Setterfield as the sub. I think a lot of teams outside that week, Dimmer played Soldo as the sub, which was just stupid.
Brisbane played Ford as a sub once. That was interesting.
So a lot of teams have been playing like they've got these subs that they'll play for 3 or 4 weeks there, and they're sort of those mature bodies who can come in and kind of. You could play Setterfield, not a bad sub. Like comes in, can play in the midfield. It releases, one of their other guys to play in a different position. A bit like Witherden as well. Like what you're going to get from Witherden as a sub. He can play.
No, I don't think Witherden.
He shouldn't be.
He won't be sub.
But he'll be sub.
No, Witherden. No, because when you have a look, so you got Hearn, Barras, Bazzo, Jermaine Jones, Harry Edwards, Liam Duggan. No. So here's the issue, right? So pretty much, I think when Hearn goes, we know Witherden he'll be a good enough player, right? Apparently, there's some conflict. I read an article this week that people are upset that. Hearn apparently was considering playing for another year. And they're like, no, that's not in our plan. We need to rebuild our list. You need to kind of move on, right? So it's very interesting. Now, what happened is that Witherden was a bit out of form, gets dropped. And what do? They put Elliot Yeo back there to do a better job, right? So now Elliot Yeo's injured. For me, when you have a look at Jermaine Jones, Harry Edwards, Bazzo, right, they need someone that has at least some experience. So unless...
Guaranteed, but watch him get
unless Petrovsky-Seton's playing...
Guaranteed, watch him get named sub.
No, unless Petrovsky-Seton's playing defence, which I doubt. He's done it before, but I think Witherden
likes him as the sub for whatever reason. I feel like it's my go-to sub.
Elliot Yeo's out, so Witherden will play. He'll play.
I don't want to disagree with you.
It'll probably be...
I'm just in the mindset of Simpson.
So I think it's Petrovsky-Seton, Petruccelli, Witherden, and Clark that play, and I think those others miss. And then I don't know who they would make a sub out of that, unless Foley or someone makes. Foley. Yeah, unless Foley plays.
Didn't look that bad in his first game.
Well, Petruccelli's done all right. He's held his spot. Sam Petrovsky-Seton's been playing best 22.
He's a recruit from another club, so he'll play.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it there, Swiz. What do we got for questions today?
And Benny, I'll throw some of these questions at me, at you this week,
at
me, and that. And Matty Gretz, why does Supercoach hate me? We all go through those moments, buddy.
Yeah.
But following the Richmond Forum, I've had this question multiple times. Matthew Falls, Jason Malira, what to do with Heaney?
He's playing, so hold him.
He's playing, so he's now holding.
Unless you have money and trades. If you have plenty of trades, then I don't mind him. Like 100,000. I don't even mind holding him at the moment. But 100.
Would you try to facilitate getting him to F7 before trying to trade him out?
If you could get him to F7 and you have plenty of trades, I think that's fine because they do have a couple of soft games coming up. He can still bang out 90s to 100. And then you could easily take that score. So I don't mind him too much. I think people get a little bit reactive, and at the start of the year, it's fine. It's feasible. People get reactive and they trade premiums and the rest of it. Finishing out the season, like I was trying to sort of say, I think on the team podcast, you have 7 rounds left. Even if you trade Heaney to someone else who's going to average you 10 points per game, you're only picking up 70 points. Yeah. Whereas if you then trade Heaney to someone else who gets injured and you have no trades, you could be losing 80 to 110 points every single week that you have a donut. So it really becomes a big negative. So if you can get a loophole player, I think that's great. I mean, I'm trying to go Taranto because that's all I can afford. If I had trades, though, I'd like to go...
That's a good segue into the next question from Brad, because he's gone, if you've got 4 trades left, would you use one to swap DeGoey to Taranto?
But again, see, DeGoey can pump out premium numbers. I know he had a bad week. After all the press...
There is rumours he could be out, late out.
Oh, if he's out, then just trade it.
Yeah.
Depending on how much money you have as well. But yeah, DeGoey's been very upsetting.
I think with 4 trades left, if he plays, you hold him. Yep. If he is laid out, then
if he plays, then you should be able to try and loop him and push him elsewhere. If you have 4 trades, I'd like to even one down, one up, and try and get someone to be able to loophole DeGoey would be a good option. Because otherwise, if you trade him and then you get an injury and then you're doing another trade, and then if all you're doing is you have no cover and no loop, then all you're doing is every single time someone has an injury, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have to trade. Whereas if you have a 1 or 2 week injury, the more likely you can sort of hold and work through that, the better you are.
Yeah.
Because I think years ago I used to have this philosophy where every trade through the buy rounds, after the buy rounds, I'd just get $102,000 player and I'll just go premium. And I think I've been stuck with many donuts for the last few years for however many rounds. I think I had Shannon Hearn the other year where he got injured and I missed it. I think I had about 3 donuts to finish the season and slid in ranks. Cover is vital and more important than I ever thought would be possible. Having a wear, being able to chip away and get you 50, 60, 70, 89 if you had an injury like a Stewart. You know, these things are valuable. People that you know are probably best 22. I thought it was Hobbs, but he was dropped and now he's back into the team. So now I'm like, well, do I just keep Hobbs and do I keep 3 trades with Hobbs as my loophole? Because he had a cracking fourth quarter and he's getting confidence. Or do I use a trade, have 2 trades left and bring in a Taranto instead of Hobbs because I have 100K in the bank? So I do feel you with the whole Heaney train because if Heaney holds in value, right, which is probably hard because he's played crap the last couple of weeks, if he holds in value, I have enough this week to go Heaney to Bailey Smith.
Yep.
So if he could hold in value for 2 weeks, or at least Bailey Smith drops one after, I could keep Hobbs for 3 weeks and then go Heaney to Bailey Smith and possibly net me more points. And we don't even know the DPP is coming next week.
Exactly, and that's the hard thing to move on.
It's
players at the
hard
moment.
to try and move. So I think if you have Heaney or to go in, they're playing, you keep him for a week, reassess, waiting for the DPPs to drop. So at least that way you have more information. Maybe you're like, oh, I didn't realize that person was DPP. Bang, I now have flexibility. You don't want to handcuff yourself and going too early. And then that way next week, like, oh man, if only I just waited, I could have done this, this, and this. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I've already spent my money a week early. So I think this is a good week to kind of be patient.
It is patient. And Adrian's phone.
Even Abdul.
Well, Abdul, exactly.
Abdul could
And
be
I think,
patient,
yeah.
wait for the round 18 DPPs, and then be the first guy to jump on.
I'm tempted to call him and just say,
Be the first guy to jump on. Mate, if you have his number, we can call him right now and bring him on your podcast.
Adrian Butler, who I think's got quite a few trades up the bank, up his sleeve, has gone short, hold or fold.
There you go. Dial him up, mate. If you
I
want to
don't
dial
have
him
on
up.
Facebook, but I'll have to have a look. I'm sure I've got him.
I think I might have him on Twitter, not on Facebook. Anyway, you
definitely. So this is from Adrian Butler. Short, hold or fold. Like he's got some trades up his sleeve.
See, here's the thing. Short's still averaging 101.9. How luxury are you to trade people out on a trot? Like we've seen it last year. Short went through a bit of a downward spiral and then came home pretty strong, I think, through a period of time. So Richmond kind of go in ebbs and flows as far as strategy and the way they play. They still have a pretty soft draw home, in my opinion. I think you could do a lot worse than having Short in your side. Now, I know it sucks because he has been bad. He's averaging 87 over the last 5, and it sucks. Right, Crisp is averaging badly and people want to trade him out. And it's easy to spend the money and burn the trades for the people in peak and the people in heat that are killing it. But not everyone maintains that average for the whole season, right? You see Stewart have a good round, drops a bad one or gets injured. Sicily was killing it, and then I bring him in, he does really badly. Mills, who was absolutely going 125 average. Everyone goes through these heaters, and you want to jump on them when they start their heater, not paying $600,000 for a guy at peak price.
Exactly.
Petrarca was the key one. People, he had 3 slow rounds. People jumped off him. Petrarca sucks, and then all of a sudden he just goes absolutely massive and hurts everyone that got rid of him. So,
Yeah, which
at what point do you have enough trades that you are luxury trading?
I'd
I'd rather spend multiple trades to get more loophole options than trying to sideways trade premiums with 7 rounds to go. You still have a third of the season left.
That hurt me a little
7
bit.
rounds.
That
is
hurt me a little
third.
bit because I went Petrarca to Mills, but that was pre-buy, and it looked good until last week. Abdul just said to me they actually traded his last trades last week.
Oh,
So even more interesting.
yes,
there.
Abdul.
Yeah, he just no, he's cooking. He just said.
He's cooking.
So he's cooking. Adrian also says Taranto, yay or nay?
I think yay. He's such at a cheap price point. He's probably the cheapest premium that I would actually consider. 430K or something is very, very cheap. When you have a look at everyone else, it's Taranto, Heaney, and there's like a plethora of people that are, however you say it, mid-range kind of options. The outside of your Bailey Smiths, your Bontempellis, your English, your Liberatores, your top echelons. There's a whole range of iffiness, and there's not much more value outside of say like a Hawkins or a Taranto. I'd pick Taranto over Heaney at the moment just based on the fact that Taranto is notorious for averaging 90 to 100. All right, he looked pretty good in the wet. Still looked pretty clean. He's getting midfield time. He's getting
Getting his
outside
value up before he comes to Richmond.
Yeah, but I just think he is someone that you could probably pick up if you can't afford much more at the start of the season. If you started Taranto, people would be like, "Oh, okay." Like maybe it's not for me, but it's like okay.
Yeah,
and he's dropped.
He's more an AFL fantasy guy, but he still gets the ball that many times.
Yeah.
Like he still is going to score reasonable in Supercoach.
Yeah, so I don't mind it at all. I think you could do a lot worse than a Taranto, to be honest, to finish your season.
What else did I have there? If you had trades and cash, would you go Cripps up to Walsh?
Yes. Or Steele. Steele is even more accessible than Walsh. I'd probably be taking Steele over Walsh because of the price point. He's probably $50,000 cheaper. Yeah. Yep. I think I said on the team pod, Steele is the biggest buy in the midfield at all. If I had trades up my sleeve, which I actually I have 3 trades. I kind of do. I could keep Heaney and I could bugger off Cripps to Steele. It's very tempting. But again, you look at Cripps to Steele. If Cripps averages 100, if Steele averages 15, then you're going to... What's that? 770, so 105 points, which is decent, but it's like if you have a donut, then that all just gets unraveled. And then if someone's out for a week, you have cover, and then that chips into your 105 points. So, yeah.
Peter Kay says he's only got 2 trades left, but he's got Dacos as his swing, M9 and D7. Is it worth moving either Short or Heaney on? He's got the cash to go out and get Walsh, Bont, or one of those top-end guys.
From Heaney.
So Dacos would become on-field, and Short or Heaney could go to one of those premium players, like a Bont. Ooh. But he would then only be 1 trade left. This is where it gets really interesting. So I quite like the flexibility they have at the moment, being able to loophole. I know it's tempting to go the bigger, better deal, the BBD as we call it. It's tempting, but then again, leaving yourself with 1 trade, it's like, okay, well, you then swing your cover and you're getting rid of another guy for someone who might be better. But again, even Heaney to Bontempelli, that'd probably be the most appealing one. If you have cash, I'd be tempted to go Heaney to Bontempelli, but then he must be able to swing someone through if that's the case. But again, I still think the whole same thing with Short. If you can loophole Short and Dacos, because Dacos is, again, on a heater, he could get rested at any point because he's been killing it and they can't rest him, but he keeps backing it up. But he could get rested at any point. And then what are you going to do? So I think if you use him, he's got a really good ceiling at the moment. They play North this week, so I'd be probably emergencing him or playing. Yeah, they play third, so I'd putting the E on him and then trying to get him on field if I could, and then just sort of work with those. With 2 trades left, I think you kind of just have to sit pretty and assess because, again, 7 rounds. So I'd wait. Time.
Yeah, it's a long time. So I'd wait 2 or 3 rounds. And if you get through 2 or 3 rounds, Dacos is still going up with that in his ceiling as well. Short, it doesn't matter because you're going to probably keep Short and loophole him anyway. Heaney will probably chip away. So at that point, I'd probably just hold it, wait for 2 or 3 weeks. If you've only got sort of 4 weeks left and you've got 2 trades, then hell yeah.
Nothing worse than Heaney at home against a Dogs backline, which is always decimated, and they leak points. Heaney comes out and kicks 4 this week, or Short without Boston comes out and scores 120, which is very much in their range.
With 7 rounds, I'd probably sit for 2 weeks, and then that way, if you sort of start to use some trades with 4 or 5 weeks left, then at least if you have cover, you're like, okay, well, that's the back end of the season. Whereas 7 weeks, again, still 1/3 of the season. So imagine if you did this, it's a lot of time. That's kind of like, hey, by the way, I'm going to use all my trades at the start of the year, but I have to get to round 8 with no cover for any injuries in the first 8 rounds. It's really tough. So I'd probably sit pretty for a week or 2 and then make a move.
And over the Twitter, Supercoach says, who do you think is going to score better this week, Jackson or Heaney?
Heaney.
Yep. That was I think they're going to be close, similar. Because I feel like Gawn plays a bit more forward tonight, but I think Heaney.
But they've both been sore, so I think they probably
so I think
split
they're
it.
probably about So I think Jackson probably goes maybe a 70-75. I think Heaney's probably going 75-80. Probably Heaney slightly better.
But Heaney has the potential to probably...
Heaney has the potential to go more.
Yeah. Kicks a couple goals and everything's back in the track. So it's going to be interesting how they use Heaney coming forward through this.
To Corey, who's a great North Melbourne man. Love you on Twitter, Corey. He's got Weir and Howe there. And he was thinking about going Burgoyne and then getting a 460k forward. or is it better to wait a week? Now, I've already replied to him and said I think you should wait a week because we're at least maybe even more because we're still going to go up, break even of 6. So anybody thinking about trading out Weir,
he's
there's
got
absolutely no reason to trade him out.
because of that 89 as well. He's going to really make some cash, and then you can sort of wait and see. That's the other option that I've been looking at with 100,000 I have in the bank. I've got Ware, who's doing really well, and I've got Hobbs as well. And they're two, that's defense and forward mid. That pretty much covers all my line for these rookies. I could keep 100,000 in the bank, and then when I have an injury, if it's a premium, I can get the next best guy, or I can then use that rookie cover, or and try and keep that cover there. So I think Ware is doing his job serviceably. If you have plenty of trades up your sleeve, then I can see the fact of, again, I still think waiting a week is the patient, smart move. Wait for those DPPs because we could have a surprise.
Yeah, for sure. Anders, always, we've answered your question, but that was Cripps to still worth the trade. If you've got probably more than 5 trades, for sure.
If you do the trade and you have 4 left, then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. To Maddie, which is a better upgrade? Upgrade Heaney to Libba or keep Heaney and add Taranto as my F7 M9?
I'm going Taranto F7 F9. I was in a similar boat except I couldn't afford Liberatore. I don't mind Heaney to Liberatore, but I think that swing option, again, might net you more points in the long term, particularly if you have an injury that's a 1 weeker. You don't have to burn a trade. I quite like having that. And I think on any given week, Heaney or Taranto can kind of bust out 100. I know Taranto's killing it. Liberatore. I do like Liberatore, but I think that's about 100 and it's probably going to cost you about 140,000. That's a lot of coin as well.
My issue with Liberatore is what happens when Bailey Smith comes back.
Yes.
They're all back and that. Like at the moment, he's killing it, but the Dogs are undermanned in that midfield compared to when they're all in there. So, yeah, I'd much prefer with Benny there with the Taranto move. Then even if Bruce comes back in and Bontempelli goes more midfield and then you have a Bailey Smith and then you've got a Liberatore, it's like, well, then how does it even work again? You're adding another forward which frees up Bont, and then it's like, okay, but then you have Bailey Smith back in, and then now what happens with Liberatore? So he could easily go back off a heater, go back to averaging your 80s, and then you're kind of in this same predicament. Exactly. A couple more. I got asked, why am I up so early in that? Today is because of a flight, but I'm a train driver, and train drivers get up real early if you're on morning shift. So thanks for that question. But from last one was from Anthony. Darcy Cameron to either Riley O'Brien or Sean Darcy, and Jaden Short to a Jordan Dawson, or Darcy Cameron to Gawn and Jaden Short to Sinclair. So the options again were Darcy Cameron and Jaden Short to Darcy and Dawson, or Darcy Cameron and Short to Gawn and Sinclair.
Does it have to be one of those options?
Apparently, that's what he's on. I if you can wait, for sure, but I would say Darcy. I would probably prefer Darcy and Dawson in my team than Gawn and Sinclair. Like I've got both Darcy and Dawson and Sinclair. But I think Dawson with his run home and through finals. Dawson and Darcy, I think are probably the better option. But I do like the fact that Gawn after his break probably won't be as highly owned. Yeah. Dawson can also get a bit injury prone, but again, who knows how Gawn's going to bounce back. Yeah, I think Darcy injury prone, but the same.
Yeah, so maybe the first one, but I'd probably even suggest, because you're getting rid of...
But that's the thing, if you're getting rid of Darcy Cameron, there's no need to get rid of Cameron. And I think
you're getting rid of Short.
Have regrets about Short this week.
You're getting rid of Short and Darcy Cameron. I think you could wait on Cameron even a week after Grundy's back.
Because the thing with Richmond this week, Presti is back in the midfield, which means Short doesn't have to play midfield. They can play Baker and Graham in there. And Short goes back and takes Voston's role for 1 week, because Short used to play that role. So, Dimmer, it's an easy one to go, Jaden, we need you to go back to half back for a week. Nothing changes.
Maybe he kills it and then he keeps him there.
And then, they might turn around and go, okay, maybe Short stays there. We've lost him back in, and they bring somebody else in. Maybe Gipkis doesn't come straight back in. It's somebody else. Like Sonzi's been killing it in the VFL, and they go, okay, maybe we bring a rookie midfield in instead of the rookie defender. So, I wouldn't be trading Short this week.
No, and I think especially Cameron, I think you can wait. Short, you can wait. I think they're just looking to trade there. Be patient. It's pretty much the best thing. Wait for another week of data, especially even then Cameron. So next week, I think Grundy will be back in with Cameron. Even just wait a week on that.
Grundy's back for one.
Round 18, I think. So next week.
I thought it was one more after that.
I think it's round 18. He was training this week. Who knows? But even then, see them both together, see what their roles will be like. And if it looks crap, then bang, you jump off straight away. But at least you get that data. It'll be before round 19, Supercoach finals.
And what happens if Grundy was to like re-injure something this week? And
or
then
next
all of
week.
a sudden you go, oh crap, like Cameron ends up being... And that happens with players. How many times do we see training injuries? So, don't need to jump the gun.
No, I agree. Yep. Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you once again to our Supercoach community. We love the questions. It was great to have Benny there answering the questions instead of just me this week. So, appreciate it.
There you go, mate. I heard I can compliment even the bluntest tool. Mate, it's going to be good. Look at this. Swizzy's
awesome.
Up. Going to take home some splashvodka.com.au. Look at that. I actually thought of you. Not because I was bringing out the manscaped.com.
Why wouldn't you be thinking of me?
But we'll give them more shout out for them next week as well. We got some more product coming in the next sort of week or so, I believe.
I think a few of my boys at the cricket club, we've got that Parkfield showers we always say about jumping in after a win. And a few of the boys might be wanting to show off their Manscaped trim after one of our wins in cricket coming up. So
you get some ball toner. You get some ball toner. You get some ball toner.
Sounds so wrong, but it's so good.
Oh, so good you'd be Nathan Lyon. That's it, everyone. So hopefully, this won't be uploaded until the game starts, but hopefully you don't have Clary as your C today, Emily.
Just double check.
Double check your captains and your VCs. And that's it. Please do like, subscribe. Send a comment. We love the comments and the interaction as well, whether it's on Twitter. Swiz is definitely on there a lot as well as I am on Twitter, and all the YouTube comments as well. We definitely get on and interact as much as we can. Love it. All right, please do like, subscribe. Once again, I think we're only 10 short of 1,500, which is crazy to think of. We'll catch you again next time. Hope you have enjoyed the special team podcast today and the special Chris's team podcast as well. What a lovely treat.
It's great.
It feels good.
It does.
It feels good, and it's weird because...
If my wife's listening to this right now, this needs to happen more often.
Yeah, exactly, right? But we don't get this, and it's us in front of a computer, so we don't realise the interaction we have. Swiz gets noticed in Victoria. Comment as well, if I was in Victoria, because I love Victoria, right? If I was in Victoria, hands up, look, comment if you would spot me. If you would actually see me and be like, hey, that's that fucking Ben from Supercoach Insider, and you would actually, if you would notice this mug, if you would or if you would notice my bad jokes.
It's happened to me, which I love. I love the fact. And I know a few of the boys have given me a bit of shit at work about it, about a couple of people coming up because you make your bloody train announcements and stuff like that. And I've had people come up and go, "Oh my god, that's Supercoach, that's Swiz from Supercoach Insider." And I can't help but I do.
Well, because I'm sheltered.
Anybody that knows me,
I am sheltered. In Brisbane, I'm sheltered, okay? So the only time I've been spotted was Spiller, who's on YouTube. Spiller was shouting out to me while I was taking a piss. Literally, we're at a cubicle, at a urinal.
No, don't sell yourself short.
Spiller, no, as in he's there, he's like, oh, Supercoach Insider, because we did tweet that we're going to the game.
No,
but would you notice this mug, is what I'm trying to say.
We went to the shops and all your students noticed.
Oh, mate, that's different being spotted. That's because it's different. But would you notice this mug? Would you notice my bad jokes if I was running down the street? Make me feel good, because I feel like I need to go to Victoria in the next sort of season or so.
And it shows. I said to Benny once ago, so I was at the Story Bridge, started my drinking run there today.
Swiz is drunk a bit.
And I was watching the news, and I think the footy was about the 7th item on there on the lunch news, where down in Victoria it's all footy, which we love. So
I've been treating Swiz to a good time. We brought the Brookvale Union ginger beer, and I put in a slice of lemon, so you can see the lemon there, and I add a shot of Sailor Jerry's. So he's having a shot of Sailor Jerry's, one standard, on top of a one standard drink ginger beer, and it becomes a nice, it's like a Sailor Jerry's ginger beer and lime, except the ginger beer you're putting in is alcoholic. Yeah. And Swiz has had 2 of those now, so he's doing well for himself.
Like, I know we drink a lot of CC down home, but there's 23 degrees in Brisbane today. This has been the perfect.
So I was doing Dry July until
that
Swiz
changed.
Well, Swiz, mate, you're up here, and I haven't seen you in 2 years. Yeah. So I was like, well, look, I will back off the drinking after you leave. So anyway, that's it from us. We got to go. The game starts in 3 minutes. We'll catch you soon. See you later. Bye.